If you have put your deposit down on an electric car in the last wee while, I'm sorry to tell you, you've probably made a mistake unless it's this, the Kia e-Soul. It's finally landed, it's finally here, full test, full review. Hit the subscribe button, get on a cup of tea, and let's have a look and find out why this is the best electric car you can buy today. That's if you can get your hands on one. Now I know you might be thinking that I'm crazy when I say that this is the best electric car you can buy in the market today. I'm just going to get my phone out so I can show you the Apple CarPlay and this thing here as well. There is a bit of a variety on the market today, but this manages to get all that variety in one car, in one single car. Starting with the seating position, which is nice and high, feels like an SUV. Isn't though, it isn't. It's a 5-door hatch. Nice big long bonnet out in front of me. Seating positions is tall but not too tall. I love the details along here. The electronic dash is perfect in front of me. Beautiful interior, really is good. Lovely texture to the steering wheel. Gear stick area here, when I say gear stick, it's a turny knob thing, just go R and D. There's a P in the middle, that's it. Heated seats on both sides, heated steering wheel on this one as well. You can go into the drive modes, we get into that when we're driving. Auto hold, then there's the handbrake on this side. A couple of cup holders, easy able to hold big bottles of water, which this is, I don't know how big that is. There's one in the door pocket as well, easy hold. That's 2, 3, 4 pockets for water easily. Big cubby hole in here as well. Manual controls on the air conditioning, very good. Running a heat pump, doesn't really matter what you turn it to, whether it's air conditioning on or off. You're not really going to affect the range that much. You're still going to get 400 to 450 kilometers. You might get 400 kilometers if you have full air conditioning turned on, full blast, keeping the place nice and chilly. That's the big difference. Not a whole lot, to be honest with you. USB port here, and then a USB charging port right beside that, including a wireless charging table right here, and a 12-volt socket, all in one little convenient cubby hole right there, where it fits my phone absolutely perfectly. Infotainment system. The best on the market, has killed whatever Volkswagen was at, which is my current favorite, but now this is the best without a doubt. It's dinging like that because the doors are open, or one of the doors open that side. The Kia system that's in here is just spot on. It works absolutely perfectly. Let me turn that down a little bit there. It works absolutely perfectly all of the time, every time, whether you're in Kia mode or you're in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It makes no difference. You confirm you've got these 3 screens of nav here, then I have my media source here, and then I have my battery condition and range left over here, and plus nearby stations are there too. If I use the wire and plug in my phone, I will get reading USB device, so I can that's probably going to pop up in a second, but that's going to play in the middle here as if Apple CarPlay isn't connected. It's just tucked into the center here. It tells me exactly how much time is left on this song. It's Storm 3000 by Left Field. But you can just use full Apple CarPlay as well, should you want to. No problem. It's just a click of a button. There is, of course, other systems. You can go into sound mood here. You can go into Apple CarPlay. It is the best system on the market, bar none. If that's not in your car when you're ordering a Kia, you've ordered the wrong one. Really, I can't tell you how good it is to finally find a system that works exactly the way I want it to work all the time, every time. There is also a glove box over there. I'm not going to worry too much about that. These lovely red patterns on the doors are perfect. The vest system is in this already, so you're future-proof. Electric cars have to make noise from next year. This already does that. There's a heads-up display out in front of me as well, which you can hear operating. I had it turned off when I was coming here. You can turn on a heads-up display as well, which means you can see your speed and your details here out in front of you, as well as being here on the dashboard. It is, without doubt, one of the best interiors in electric cars you can get today, bar none. Happy to have you along this far so far. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to hit into the back seat and see is there anything back there for a rear passenger. Right, rear seats. Now, I will say, even though it's a great back seat, that's a good thunk. It's very dark, right? Just sitting here, maybe not looking on the camera, but it is kind of dark. But there's tons of room, so I have plenty of fist room between me and the seat in front of me. I have a single USB port, could do with 2 down there, Kia, really, 2C. Anyway, but then at least there is 1, which is good. There's a back pocket in the back of that seat, which is perfect. That's just all you need. The seats in here will hold probably 3 people in here. 3 adults will be a bit of a squeeze. Definitely 2 kids, adult in the middle, or 2 adults and a kid in the middle. I have a center armrest, not a fancy one, but it's got 2 cup holders in it. It looks good. There's no loader through because it's a 5-door hatchback, but you can get at the rear seat easy enough. All you got to do is pull that and the whole lot drops down beside you. No problem. All goes fairly flat as well. Really easy. Not soft drop or anything like that, but goes back up just as easy. One little bone of contention is the seat belt does get trapped behind the seat. There is a little clip up there in the corner in case it does. Perfect back seat. A bit dark, but other than that, bang on. Really like it. Let's go to the boot. So the boot is where a 5-door hatchback lives and dies, and that's the most important part of the boot. And the Kia Soul does have a little bit of a letdown here and there. Now, it does have the tonneau cover, or this kind of partial shelf bit, that folds up and then folds up again. But where do you put that though, Kia? Like when you don't want to use it, it has to come out of the car, and that's the end of it. Okay, so we can live with that. Now, there's a Harman Kardon subwoofer in the boot here as well, a 12-volt socket on that side. Under here, there is no spare wheel. Bit of a disappointment that one. I thought you have room for it there. I can see there's a space where you could put a spare wheel. It's not in it. And there is no shopping bag hooks. So this is the only fly in the whole ointment here, Kia. No shopping bag hooks, no spare wheel. 12-volt socket's good. This tonneau cover needs to be slightly redesigned, or partial shelf, you want to call it that. It needs to be redesigned, and that's very hard to put it anywhere. When you don't want it there, you want to drop the seats, it's very hard to find a home for this thing. Dropping the seats from back here is easy enough. Just press the button and push down and it's gone. And the same for the far side. And you got a flat floor. But like I say, when you want to take this out, where does that go now? Do you have to leave that in the garage? Because it doesn't fit underneath this thing. Anyway, minor thing. Otherwise, car, 100%. And to put this all back together, we're going to go for a drive. Give me a minute here and we'll see how easy it all goes back up, right? Shouldn't be that hard. Should it? No, it isn't. It's one click. There you are, back into a normal sized car in real time. Right, hit the subscribe button. Get a cup of tea again. Get your second one, right? Let's go for a spin. So this has the VESS system, which if I slow down here, once you go above, I think it's 18 or 20 kilometers an hour or something like that, it goes off anyway. It's law from next year, electric cars have to make some sort of noise while driving along. Funny enough, I've driven some petrol cars this year which make no noise whatsoever at lower speeds, and they don't have to make noise next year. But to drive, it is actually a fairly rewarding car to be in. It's okay. For electric cars are built for range. You know, they're built to go a certain distance and that's it. This one does realistically, if you were to use it every day, we'll say in normal mode, like a normal human being, and you're not making Excel spreadsheets about how much pennies you have saved over the last 3 weeks, then you will probably get closer to 350, 375 will be much more realistic. If you're willing to forego certain comforts and put it into the eco mode, which uses the recuperation system to recoup some power, I don't advise using it regularly unless you're always in the town. Then you would probably get much closer to that 400, a magic 400 kilometers in a range, and you might even do the 450 if you're willing to just turn off the air conditioner every once in a while, open a window. You know, all the little things you can do to save your range in a petrol and diesel car, you can do in this car. Acceleration wise, it's deadly. These things are very fast. They all are. Electric cars are all fast. So you put your foot down and all that little woo sound comes on and you're away doing nice little speed. The reason, of course, anyone who's not watched this channel before, I'll give you a quick rundown of why electric cars are fast in the first place, because there's no gearbox, there's no transfer box, there's There's no speed box, there's nothing restricting you. You're basically connected almost directly to the engine, and that's why these electric cars are quicker than you imagine. You soon tire of that, so don't make that a selling point for your car. If you're thinking about buying a Model 3 or a Model S or something just because of ludicrous mode, they all have it in various degrees. Yes, a Model 3, yes, a Model S or a Model X will shove you back into the seat, but you're going to pay over 100,000 euros for that privilege. So you know what, we're kind of down here in the 37s. And that's where this car lives, 37 grand. Very similarly priced to everything else in the electric car market. It's not going to do massive amounts of difference in price, but for that entertainment system, for that range, I'm very happy to say that I fit in this car. Unlike one of the better selling cars in the market at the moment, the Hyundai Kona has very good range, but no rear leg room, almost non-existent boot. It's a very small car in comparison to this one. They don't look smaller, but they are much smaller. So the Kia e-Soul is a bigger car entirely, despite them coming from very close together factories and running on the same systems underneath. So what are you gonna get? What do I get? Well, the problem is right now, this I think is probably nearly sold out in Ireland. The e-niro is probably almost sold out as well. We get an allotment of them. We get so many of them for sale in the first place, and most of them are already sold. Now, that shouldn't leave you short, because I don't advise buying an electric car until 2020. I think you should hold out for a little bit, because there's so many people entering into the market right now. It's going to be a strange time in the coming months and into 2020, because the government is messing and fiddling and massaging budget figures that are going to come up in October, and we don't know exactly what they're going to do with them. And that's the biggest problem right now, is that we have a pile of dreary suits at the top who have no idea what they're doing with the rest of the country. Speaking of dreary suits, a few weeks ago the government brought out a climate action plan, which is now largely just wiped off the table like it never happened. It was a complete joke. The emergency plan that came out to save Ireland and turn us all into electric loving people, largely they've dumped a whole lot of it. We still have peat fired electricity in this country, still exists. The other day there was a report that the Shannon, the River Shannon, the biggest river in Ireland, is so hot this time of the year that the discharge from the electric heat powered plant in Ireland, the discharge is too hot going into the river, and therefore will begin to heat up the river even more, which will cause even more ecological problems. You see where I'm going with this? The discharge from a power station into our river system. You might think it's just water. I don't know what it is. It could be anything. It's definitely hot water. The problem we have right now is that the electric car market is burgeoning, and there's cars supplying into it. But that doesn't mean that the government or our infrastructure is even nearly ready yet. It's not. I'm here in Emo, and I can tell you right now, the nearest thing to me to charge the car is 5.6 kilometers away in a train station. Now, what the hell am I going to do in a train station for 4 or 5 hours while I'm waiting for a 22 kilowatt charger to get me back up to charge? Take a train somewhere? I don't think so. So the problem is charging speed. Now, I haven't had to charge it since I got it. I've done 150 kilometers, I've 233 kilometers left, and that's in normal mode. That's with the air conditioning on, Apple CarPlay blaring, it's everything turned up to max. So I actually probably wouldn't have to charge this to bring it back to Kia tomorrow, because it's going back tomorrow morning. I wouldn't have to charge this, leave it alone. It's cost me nothing to run it over the weekend. Now, I will charge it because I'm that kind of weirdo, and I like things to be full of electricity, and I like to see how it all works, and can you charge it, and what to do, and how is it. I'm very curious like that. The problem I have right now with this system, with this infrastructure in Ireland, is that if, for whatever reason, myself and the kids decided, well, you know what, let's go to Arklow, Wexford, Galway. Well, I couldn't go, because I'm just on the fraction edge of the range of that journey. So I would either have to charge now and wait 2 or 3 hours at home to charge a bit further so go, or just have to go and hope there's a charge station on the other end. And that's where the infrastructure is playing catch up. It's dire. ESB e-cars has done a dreadful job at making this work, at making this rollout happen. They've done a terrible job, and its funding has done that to them every single time. Car companies are doing a really good job at pouring out cars, but the cars aren't up to standard. We need 600 kilometers to be the standard. Right now, we're getting close to 400 kilometers being the standard. The Volkswagen ID later in the year will bring that kind of range, that 400 kilometer range as well, or so they say. There's so much going on in the market. I'm telling you now, this car is going to suit you for the next 6 or 8 years, fine. The Kia e-niro is going to do similar, long range ones only, by the way. So I'm going to leave you with this idea. This car is going to do you for the next 6-7 years. No problem. This car can do the range, it will do the job, it's good, it's solid, it's fairly future-proof. You shouldn't have any problems with it. But in 6 or 8 years' time, I don't know where the market's going to be. I don't know what the average range of an electric car is going to be. I don't know where the whole market's going to land. So I can't really help you with that part. I can just tell you right now that this car is going to be fine for you for the next 6 to 8 years. I don't even know if you're going to have the range you have in this car today in 10 years' time. I'm not sure. Battery degradation is something that's being researched at the moment. But we haven't had electric cars around long enough, in numbers enough, to really get a good average. So that's it, really. In a nutshell, we're in a time where we're not ready for electric cars, but electric cars are ready for us. The infrastructure is still hanging around in the background while ESB e-cars, people are giving talks at electric car evenings, and yet they're not doing anything with the rollout of the system. They haven't repaired one of the electric car charge points in Portlaoise in 7 months. So what's the point? You're going to charge at home all the time? Yeah, great. What happens when you need to charge on the street and it's not there for you? Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've learned all you need to know about the Kia e-Soul and indeed the Irish electric market, and you've hit the subscribe button. There's a number of ways of supporting the channel down below in the links. You can buy some t-shirts and all sorts of stuff. But at the very least, all I actually ever want you to do is hit the subscribe button. So until the next time, I will see you on the far side.